into the replay of the round 7 AFL clash between Geelong and the West Coast Eagles. The Cats at home at Skill Stadium, coming off a mammoth victory over Richmond last week up against the all-conquering West Coast Eagles. But the Cats are on fire at the moment, and some big guns up forward have been kicking some massive scores. Mooney, Ablett, Nathan Ablett as well as Gary Ablett, and they're moving it out of the midfield well with guys like Bartell dominant this year. But they're up against one of the best teams in the competition, the reigning premiers, the West Coast Eagles, undefeated coming into this afternoon's contest, with Judd the man they'll have to stop, along with Daniel Kerr, who was best on ground and got the Brownlow votes last time these two teams met. Let's go to the action. Umpires this afternoon, Matt Stevick, Brett Allen and Matthew Nichols, and it's the local boy from Geelong, Brett Allen, who's entrusted with the opening bounce. Bartell gets the first possession. Half a push, Kelly with the handball, stolen though by Jones. Spears the pass inside 50, and already LeCras has taken a mark and will line up for the West Coast.
It was almost a pedestrian start in slow motion. I thought there'd be a ferocity like we've had in the last 24 hours in two games that I witnessed, and that was interesting how it just flowed.
And Mark LeCras wore the number 19 jumper last year, now wearing Andrew McDougall's old number 2, although many West Coast Eagles fans will say that it's never really Andrew McDougall's number 2, it was always Dean Kemp's. From 45 metres out, and it's across the face, only a behind.
Selwood for G. Ablett, which is an interesting matchup. Big job.
Milburn entrusted with the kick in for the Cats. Perfect conditions for football. Mackie, who, as Danny Frawley said in the intro, is coming off some pretty good weeks of footy, to Milburn, who's coming off a great decade. It's been arguably Geelong's best of the last decade. To Corey, to Enright. Kick not good, straight to Seavey. And he couldn't load up and go long because no one was there. Selwood, playing against his brother for the first time today, in an AFL jumper at least, to Wirrapunda, to Lynch, who's marked just inside the boundary line. And he sends it along. Hanson's in the goal square, pushing back, not a mark to Enright. Play on a toe poke. Jones, forward pocket. Umpire might have to sort this out. Comes close to the boundary line, and we will get a ball in. Rowan Smith.
Joel Corey has picked up Chris Judd, and Cameron Ling has got the job on Kerr today.
It's a couple of massive jobs. Lynch doing the ruck work against Blake, who won it down to Mackie. Little fumble. Kelly. And now Milburn with one hand.
That is not a good sign. I can't believe at this early stage when the boxers are standing there, though, just feeling each other's out. He's gone one-handed and dropped what was a certainty.
And it's very un-Milburn-like to do that, especially in front of the president and the CEO in that grandstand just above them as well. From the ball in. And it might be like this for a lot of the day. And we'll get another ball up.
Well, not only that, his first kick out of the back line went straight to Seavey too. So he's had two. Just see Cameron Ling here at the stop. He just got finger in the back on Daniel Kerr, which is quite an interesting tactic.
Blake, front spot on Lynch. Got a fingernail on it. Down to Armstrong though. High kick to the goal square. Hanson again. Off hands. And punch through for another behind.
Well, Geelong down have struggled, haven't they, to get it out of their defensive 50.
Scarlett. Enright. And across the centre for the first time to Steve Johnson. Good to see him back last week. Caught though by Kerr, brought down, holding the ball.
Well, that's Daniel Kerr. We talk about his ability to get the ball, but his tackling so far this year has been sensational.
Selwood to Seavey to Glass. Chip kick to Rosa. And inside 50 to Braun, who takes the mark, held it long enough. Bartell claims he punched it away, but it'll be Michael Braun to line up and you would think put the first goal on the board for the afternoon.
Well, Braun's the hunter. He's on Jimmy Bartell, and Bartell had to put more time into Braun there. When your opponent pushes forward inside the forward 50, especially directly in front, 30 metres out from goal.
What a big goal kicker for his career, Michael Braun. Only the 2 this year. Make that 3. They get the opener.
Well, it's all the Eagles so far, Parko. The ball has not been inside Geelong's forward line. They'd be, if I know it's only 2 or 3 minutes, but worrying signs early for Geelong. They're just not getting their hands on the ball.
Well, I think you visualise a total package here of intensity, and you look for that as the case, don't you? At the beginning of the game, I reckon you'd be sitting back now, Bomber Tom, saying, when are these blokes going to get into second gear? Because at the moment, they're sitting back.
First goal for Michael Braun. He'll be welcomed into the AFL's 200 club later this year, and we're looking forward to that acceptance speech. From the ball up, Blake against Seavey. Toe poke by Judd. Blake gets it back again, the traditional handball to Wachinski. Finally, inside 50. Nathan Ablett harassed well by Brett Jones. Bartel. Nathan Ablett again. Johnson. Half had it, half played for the free. Still plays for the free, gets it.
Well, it was great playing in the end for Johnson. I think he did stage for the first one, but the second one he thought, no, I'm not going to get a free kick by staging. I'm going to go hard at the ball, and he wore a head-high tackle there. As we just see the situation here, putting his head over the ball, and yeah, Jones too high over the right shoulder.
So an internal suspension kept him out for the first 5 weeks of the season due to alcohol-related problems, and a short pass to Mooney in the pocket from Steve Johnson. And this is well within Cameron Mooney's repertoire.
Well, that amazes me, Dan. I mean, there's 30 players in the 50. And as I said the other day, everybody's got somebody, but nobody's got anybody.
McMini a goal from here. It's their home venue, the Cats. Starts it right as you should, but it doesn't come back enough. Only a behind.
I thought Steve Johnson should have kicked that, Parker. He was shooting from goal from 45. He's got close to Cameron Mooney, but on a more difficult angle.
It's the new unselfish Steve Johnson.
No, it's a doubt, Dwayne. It's a doubt in himself to do what he should do.
I think the team thing then, Dwayne, was to kick the goal though.
Yeah. Hunter to Glass. Brett Jones. Armstrong the target. Gets there. Half-back flank. Some good support here for the Eagles. It's not all Cat fans at Skilled this afternoon. Armstrong to the wing. And big fly by Enright and Mackie. Mackie thumped it away from Enright. Rosa. Stolen by Ling. He turns it over as well to Chick. Kerr through traffic. Seavey tackled by Steve Johnson. Kerr picked up by Seavey. Corey to Steve Johnson. Attempts this one. Rolls it toward goal. Hunter gets back. Glass. Last line of defence. Thought about rushing it through. Brett Jones. He's got Adam Selwood. Tough one for him. Kept it alive. No, it's out of play. We'll get a ball in.
Well, better signs here for Geelong. We're just overusing the ball somewhat at the moment. Only the 8 kicks, 11 handballs for Geelong.
Blake and Seavey into his back. Now Blake is not a traditional kicker of the ball. He likes the handball, so this will test him. He hardly ever kicks.
Well, Stephen Johnson's just swooping around in there,
well, that's exactly right. And the opposition, you'd have to expect that, wouldn't you?
Yeah, look at Stevie Johnson.
Hovering there, nobody's gone to him to say, well, he's likely to be the designated kicker here.
Well, he's never kicked a goal.
Cameron Ling and Johnson on here inside.
Might be history-making, Brian.
It could be. From the 5 and the 50, just not bad. It swings away at the last moment. Only a behind, but at least you see that he can kick it.
Well, great signs for Mark Thompson. We all expected Brett Ottens to play in the ruck without Cox, but he's give young Blake the opportunity, which is fantastic.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm still waiting for the game to get into second gear, though, Dan.
We want a few contests, Parker.
Yeah.
Kick in towards Adam Selwood. Couldn't get a fingernail on the ball. Good hip and shoulder on Kerr. And we'll get a ball in. Wachinski in his 100th game with that hip and shoulder for the Cats.
Yeah, I didn't think anybody got a hand on it, but the umpires were convinced.
Lynch doing the ruck work against Bartel, of all people. And he slams it straight down to Brett Jones. The sting line caught by Barco. Nice tackle. No free. Bartel. Gary Ablett around the body towards Ottens at full forward. Off hands. Nathan had it but lost it. Gathers it again. Can he get the kick away? Twists. Turns out of trouble. And goes all the way.
Well, that was just a magnificent bit of play there. He avoided 4 tackles. The Eagles weren't on song there, but you got to hand it to Ablett. Did it on his own.
Well, he dropped it the first time. He made a bit of a meal of it the first time, but he kept at it, and he kept at it, and he kept at it, and he created the opportunity. Only a skillful player could get around the bloke in the finish, make ground, second time, and finally get a quick look. Beautiful.
Well, Stenglein will love to have that again, but he just had to tackle the hips. He just reached too far on Ablett there.
Scores a level. First goal for Nathan Ablett this afternoon. Kicked 4-1 last week in that demolition of Richmond, where the Cats kicked 35 goals. Seaby up against Blake in the ruck. Both got half a hand on it. Judd, and almost the throw from Blake. Armstrong to Judd. Nice movement. Long towards full forward. One-on-one battle. LaCroix beaten for it by Scarlett. To Nace, who started on the bench for the Cats. He bounces across the defensive goal square. Hits to Mackie, who lost the ball in the sun. Was lucky to mark it in the end.
He recovered well, Wayne. That was fantastic.
Chips the kick to Cam Mooney. Half volley was tough. Off the knee. David Johnson. Jart. Almost the turnover. Enright. David Johnson. To Nace. Gary Ablett. To Nace. The game slowly lifting. Kelly. Lead comes from Nathan Ablett. It's in his direction. Gets rid of Staker. Waters. Staker. Steve Johnson. And he didn't keep it in. We'll get a ball in.
Well, what we've got here now is Lynch. We were worried about who was going to go in the ruck for the Eagles with no Cox. What's happening after the centre bounce is Lynch is staying in the forward line, pushing into the ruck as we see here. Seaby's pushing forward.
Interesting.
Blake and Lynch. Murapunda. Stengline. Rowan Jones. He's got Hunter peeling off for him out wide. It's all about the bounce. It sits, but he was forced to wait for it. Wide to Braun. Two grab mark just inside the line.
Otten's been run off there too, Dan. That was significant, I think.
Well, Glass has already had the 3 positions, Parker.
Yep.
You're spot on.
Long towards LaCroix. Hand on it from Egan. Kelly back of the pack. Rosa, Hanson both there for the Eagles. Kelly beats them both. Stolen back again. Hanson to line up from 35. And he's got it. Eagles back in front.
Well, they're just cleaner with their disposal at the moment, the Eagles. Geelong have gone forward. A little bit scrappily. Nathan Ablett had to kick one, you know, it was a bit of a scrappy goal, but the Eagles seem to be going forward with a bit more purpose at the moment, David.
And I don't think I've seen a game for a long time. This is two of the better talented teams I have seen. I reckon 11 or 12 intercepted handball, deliberately hit to their teammates and been pinched halfway by the opposition. Most unusual.
Opening goal of the afternoon for Ashley Hanson. Another one of those 2001 draftees the West Coast Eagles were able to grab. Same draft as Judd, and Seaby was kind to them. And Seaby in the ruck. Down to Rosa. Tackled by Bartel, another player from that 2001 draft, Jimmy Bartel.
Well, there we see Seaby pushing forward again, and Lynch, he just comes into the stoppage here as we see, and Seaby pushes forward with Mackie.
Blake and Lynch. Ling forced to do the tackling. Gary Ablett Jr. appealing to umpire Matt Stevick for being held.
I think this is good for Lynch. We saw him as just a key forward, but he seems to be coming up the ground, and he's just starting to learn the game around the midfield now, which is great.
A low ball up. Corey. And dumped by Rosa. And dumped too high.
Well, you called it basically, but not with that shift. We didn't think so. We thought the young boy would come on Brown and play forward, and Seaby would rest, but he's causing some height problems for him.
Cameron Mooney. With 14 goals this year. Cam a long way up towards Nathan Ablett. Got a grab at it, but not the second. Staker knocked it out. Varco through traffic, got a kick away somehow. And it bounces across the line. We'll get a ball in.
That was clever, Varco, to get over, to tuck the ball up underneath and get a kick out. Wasn't accurate, but it was a terrific possession.
The thing I liked about it, Pargo, he stayed low over the ball. He put his body over the ball. He didn't reach for the ball.
Altons to do the ruck work with the Cats for Lynch. And in the forward pocket against the boundary line, Judd. Can he keep it alive and go with it? He can. Gets away from a couple of tackles. Staker. Judd again. Shrugs Ottens. Now Hunter. They come to the open side. Waters. Scott Rosa. Hits him with the pass. Once again tucked up against the boundary line.
It's amazing how to go. Judd always looks in a difficult position, but they have such faith in him. They whack the ball to him whether he's under pressure or not.
A lot of faith in himself.
Yeah, I think he has too.
As he should have with that ability. Lynch. Sends a long ball in the Braun direction with him Tenace. Braun read it magnificently. Good use of the body, no use of the hands. Lead comes. Out in front, little push. No free kick to Lacroix. Well played by Enright. Handball to Johnson. Scarlett. Ottens. Mackey. No one to go too long. Mooney. And now Lachinsky, who can go all the way, sizes them up from 50. And misses.
Need to put that through, but interesting. Blake off Ottens into the middle. Instant impact for Geelong soon as Brad Ottens went through the midfield there.
Rosa to Staker. Takes on Varco, which is dangerous. Punda. Rowan Smith on the boundary line.
Kersey's coming off, having no influence in the game, so Cameron Link comes off with him as well.
He's only had the one possession, Kurt.
Super job by Ling, really.
Glass. Ling having a rest with him. Bartel, who's been instrumental for the Cats. Well, not just this year, but maybe especially this year, has been superb. Staker to Stingline. Wide ball. Chick. Nathan Ablett comes at him, but then corrals him. Chickle on the boundary line, and Tenace takes the mark. No.
Another fumble.
Lost it to Braun. Armstrong's inside 50. Will have to peel back onto it. Scarlett read it magnificently through traffic.
Certainly had to go with the ball there.
Oh, terrible effort.
Wojcinski. Selwood now on for the Cats. Corey. Long towards the goal square where Punda peels off on Stokes.
Well, you don't want to kick the ball high to the Eagles' back line. You've got to kick the ball to space. If you kick it high, guys like we're Punda and Glass,
They read it off, don't say well.
they will read the ball beautifully.
Stingline. Decision for Stingline to leave the Adelaide Crows paying off last year with that flag. Short to Rosa. He didn't play in that grand final win last year and is playing to win himself a flag this year. Lynch, who of course was instrumental last year after not being included in the loss the year before. And Lynch heads wide. He's hoping for Hunter, and the bounce was unkind. Ball in.
Well, since Ottens has pushed into the rack, John Worsfold has slipped Hunter into the forward line. Normally has instant impact, Hunter, when he goes forward. Normally snares a goal nice and early.
Plenty of moves being made on the bench as well. Ottens in the ruck against Seavey. Corey to Enright.
Hawkins just on the ground, Dwayne.
And free. Holds it up though. He's got Nathan Ablett long. It's in his direction. It's in front. Bouncing ball. Nathan's got a couple to beat and almost beats them both. Glass. Stingline. Brown. Mitch Brown, who started on the bench, finds Rosa to Judd. As you said, they go to him even though he's in traffic. Rowan Jones. Wirapunda. Maintaining possession all the way towards Hunter. Scarlett with him. He's got the boundary line as an option, Matthew Scarlett. Keeps it alive, Milburn. Kelly. Critis. Caught. Handball off just in time. Milburn to Mackey. The Cats looking better with each passing minute. Stokes. Mackey again. Long towards Mooney. Glass is with him. Mooney. Oh, the hell. He had three grabs at it. Crowd wanted a free. Don't get it.
Well, they've paid worse this year, David.
Yeah, and it's interesting hearing the surge of the Geelong supporters as one of their players under pressure is about to be pulled down, and then somebody who's offended against isn't given the free kick, which was obvious.
Bartel gathers it up, the handball and goals. Maybe justice.
Well, Brad Ottens, his ruck work against Lynch paid dividends there. I know Seavey was there, but Brad Ottens to Bartel was absolutely magnificent. He's had a great start to the year, Bartel. As we see the stoppage here, Ottens, just a magnificent contest. Handball out to Bartel. Gee, he's really improved, David Bartel, as a player. Complete player now.
Oh, absolutely. And Otten's effort, he's often good round his feet. Otten, when he gets down his hands and knees, he gets a good option.
First goal for Jimmy Bartel. He's a local product from Bell Park, and it is Mother's Day, so he's a great story given Mother's Day, raised by a single mum who's a great contributor to the town locally as a teacher. Great to see the locals able to play for the Cats occasionally. From the ball up, Kelly can't break free. Bartel gets rid of Pritis. and we'll get another ball up.
Well, Gary Ablett's gone into the middle now, and Selwood's going everywhere Gary Ablett is. Start on the half-forward line. We just see on the left of the screen there. So Gary Ablett's wearing Adam Selwood for the day.
Blake in the ruck, down to end right. Another attacking move by the Cats. Waters gets back, safe hands. In opposition to Steve Johnson. And short pass to Stengline is good. Now Selwood, who gets off Gary Ablett Jr.
And this is where he hurts, doesn't he? I mean, Gary Ablett's got to work just as hard defensively as he does offensively, and that's not been a part of his game.
Selwood's kick almost cut off by his brother, Joel. CB able to mark it to Prittis. To centre half forward. Bartel flies as he loves to. He's only small, but he can take a courageous grab. Kelly. Enright.
Ling just on the ground, Dwayne, and gets a possession again.
It's the second time they've used that move.
Yeah, it's working well.
Mackey. Now Hawkins on the leader. Hits the back of Brett Jones.
Bullseye.
Kerr. Chick. Kerr. And now Rosa. Forced to stretch for it. Stokes comes at him. Burapunda peeling off, as he does so well. Rowan Jones. 15 plays 14. All the way back to Waters. Burapunda just refusing to turn it over. They might. Brett Jones. Prittis got it from Kerr. Braun. Brett Jones. Prittis. Braun. Into the corridor to Seavey. Working it around. Jones again. Adam Selwood. Corralled by Mackey. Stengline. And Braun's worked his way from one wing to the other. And gathers. Takes them on and runs away from Kelly. The leads come inside 50. Spearing past to Hunter. Gee, that's a free against Enright. Gee.
Yeah, it was a magnificent leap from Hunter as well. So Braun's having some impact here. You see Hunter there.
He's been the most constructive player.
Yeah, that was definitely a free kick. Enright took his eyes off the ball there. He's a great weapon to have, David. Hunter starts in the back line.
Super. Not required there because of their structure, goes down the other end and hurts you. I mean, that's true versatility, and the game's not building those sort of players anymore.
Brings it around from the kick. He likes it off the boot. West Coast Eagles back in front.
Well, Hunter, we talked about it. As soon as he goes forward, he gets a goal. He's an absolute freakish player there. This guy here, Braun, on the screen, he's had the 7 possessions. He's the midfield at the moment. We expected Judd and Kerr to do their jobs, but it's the lesser lights. Braun at the moment just running the lines. He's the player that Geelong really have to put some heat into.
And you reckon Tenace is the right? I think Tenace is a good opponent for him, but he's just got to be aware the other way.
Ticked into time on opening term. 5 minutes to quarter time, and it's a tight one. The Cats demolished Richmond last week, kicking 35 goals to 9. Did nothing like that this afternoon. Free kick in the middle, and Blake handball, surprise, surprise, to Ling. Inside 50. Glass, Waters. Barco threw him out of it. Chick. Mooney tried the toe poke it. Burapunda. And that's a nicely measured kick to Rowan Jones, who gets the free. Former vice-captain, who did lose his form for a little while. Rowan Jones missed the grand final loss to Sydney with a knee, but hit back last year with that grand final win after a good year. To the wing. Enright sends it long back inside 50 to Hawkins. Push out.
Oh, gee, he didn't have to do that because he's got a mismatch on Chick. They're going to have to get Hunter back. So Hawkins is back on the ground. The young fella, all he had to do, David, there was use his arm, use his body. He had 8 inches on him.
Yep.
He's grown up in the wrong era. Kids of his era are all allowed to use their hands. Prittis. Long high kick. Egan trying to get a fist on it. Tackle on Wachinski is good. Forced to dispose of it. Boundary line will get a ball in.
They're not immediately doing anything about that. They reckon Chick's strength, which he's known for, but the size of Hawkins. I mean, if they get it in there right, he's dead in the water, Chick.
Beautiful palm down by CB to Rosa. Kerr, after having a spell on the bench, back on. Ling corralling him. Rosa And Stengline in the centre circle. Nice little peel off. And Hearn now on the ground. He loads up from 50. And that's a magnificent kick. Just on Shannon Hearn. Goal with his first delivery.
Well, Dan, you said to me before the game, watch this Hearn. He is a prodigious kick. And the first time he had a chance, he unloaded under a bit of frontal pressure too. Got it away into the grandstand, straight as a die.
Well, he's one of the lesser lights John Horsfall was talking about at the start of the season. We're going to improve as a club. Even though we've won the premiership, guys like Prittis and this young kid Hearn, they've get their opportunity. They've had to earn their stripes through the waffle, and you see the benefits of that beautiful long kick. A damaging play.
First kick for Shannon Hearn, straight off the bench. Comes from a very successful culture, Central Districts in the SANFL. Premiership after premiership there. They took him pick 13 in the 2005 draft and started to really blossom into a player. Kelly with the takeaway. No mark toward us.
Well done, Stokes.
Dished it to Mooney, did Stokes, and Mooney spears it through.
Stokes' goal.
Terrific effort.
Well, that was magnificent. Great goal from Mooney as we see him come off the ground, which we often see. But just have a look at this contest here. This is what you want your smaller players to do. There's a spillage here. You see Stokes just put his body on the line. He wore one for his teammate. Didn't get hands on the ball, but caused the spillage. That's a magnificent goal. Milburn mopped it up. Handball to Mooney. Goal. Magnificent team goal there. Mark Thompson will be absolutely wrapped with young Stokes' effort there.
An important player, Cameron Mooney, the only premiership player in this Geelong lineup. Of course, a flag in his 11th game and his final game for the Kangaroos from the ball up. 21 plays, 26. Corey, Tenace, Enright, Milburn.
Enright's been terrific off the half-back line.
Best player, most constructive player for the Geelong team.
Hawkins to the pocket. He's got the advantage. Arm slapped. Umpire said play on. Brett Jones got it from Wirrapunda. Stingline.
It's a better match-up there for the Eagles with Staker on Hawkins.
Rowan Jones and Braun. Kelly's got two to beat. And the two work against him. Braun to Rowan Jones. Long towards attacking 50 and even gets back. Solid grab. But every game this year, all 22 last year. Matthew Egan, very important player for the Cats now, even though unheralded somewhat. Joel Selwood, Blake. Back to Joel Selwood. Just pokes it towards full forward. Steve Johnson's down there and almost marks it. Kicks the goal regardless. He is the miracle man.
Held his feet in the contest there, Stephen Johnson. That was magnificent play. He knew that he had a one-on-one contest here. The long ball was a beautiful kick from Joel Selwood. Defenders don't like that kick directly in front, 10 metres out, but it was the ability to pounce on the loose ball. That's where he really had the guy Jones there, and that was just a magnificent passage of play. We see Jones try and mark the ball, but Johnson had just the awareness just to tap it his way and kick a beautiful crumbing goal.
Been a lot of talk about disciplinary issues this year, but the Cats bit the bullet with Steve Johnson. Dropped him for the first 5 games of the year, and his return last week was spectacular. 23 possessions and 2 goals won from the ball up. Blake with the handball to Ling. Nathan Abler knocked out of it. Brett Jones. Prittis. Wobbly kick. Egan. 27 plays, 26. Cats back in front, 90 seconds from time. Milburn, short, Steve Johnson. Almost played on, did play on. Turnover. Rowan Jones.
That's frustrating. Mark Thompson will be disappointed with that effort from Johnson. They were controlling the play there.
Hunter. Oh, and he's got the nudge out. Enright to take the free.
Gary Abbott back on the ground, and guess what, Dwayne? Gets a possession.
Straight off the bench. Steve Johnson. Knocks it to his own advantage. Takes on Rosa. Handball to Ling. Back to Steve Johnson. Makes the body commitment, as does Kerr. Both dive in. Glass goes in hard. Last minute of this opening term, important. 1 point the margin. Scarlett's handball over the top. Blake gets the kick away and can't get the distance where Apunda takes the mark.
Well, young Gary Ablett was in the same vicinity there. I just wonder whether Blake could have just got the ball there and let Gary Ablett run onto it.
He just was a little bit far behind him. I think he was thinking he wanted him to come, but he wasn't in the right place.
Might have seen the goals and knew his first one was looming.
Got to know your limitations sometimes, Dwayne.
Exactly. Rarely kicks the ball. As we said, would have been an easy pregnancy.
It's taken a while, but the intensity grown just in this last 2 minutes has just gone up to the kind of levels I thought would have at the start.
Well, that Kerr-Johnson clash as we saw
Terrific, wasn't it? Good.
a minute ago was beautiful.
And the ball in. Blake down to Prittis, who turns it over. Ling rolls it towards the boundary line. Milburn, and we'll get a ball in about 60 from goal. Maybe time enough for a takeaway and a score for the Cats only.
Both coaches would be wrapped with this start, David. John and Mark Thompson, both sides.
I don't think that they'd be, panicking at all.
Little push out, and Corey will take the last kick of the quarter. Joel Corey. There's no breeze here at Skilled Stadium this afternoon, but if he loads up with a torpedo, it's doable.
He's a ball magnet, Joel Corey.
I think that'd be great. Corey, Enright, Bartel in that first quarter have just been terrific.
He has 29 possessions last week, Joel Corey. He's a relatively inaccurate kick normally. He's kicked 41 goals, 45 for his career. One of those rare players who's kicked more behinds than goals. And add another behind to that tally. So the Cats go into quarter time with a 2-point lead. Second term coming up. Geelong by 2 points, 4-4-28. The West Coast 4-2-26.
At the moment, all the aces with Mark Thompson.
I agree. I reckon CB in and then back, not forward.
Alton's against CB. Corey starts the second term as he left the first. Getting plenty of the ball. Mooney beaten for it by Glass. Corey again. Tap to Bartel. Mooney. Kick away, but Kerr. Best on ground. Last time these two teams met here at Skilled Stadium was Daniel Kerr. Got the 3 Brownlow votes. And the West Coast Eagles came from 54 points down late in the third term to win. Judd. Glass. Judd through traffic magnificently. Got the kick away. Brown. Couldn't trap it. But Judd again. Got his own ball. Towards Lynch. Can't take the mark. Back of the pack. Lacroix left it behind. Enright, Scarlett. The battle of the two best fullbacks in the competition at either end, Scarlett and Glass. Kelly left it behind. Armstrong with the tackle. Mackey. Almost caught. Got the handball away. Ottens. Lacroix had him. Tenace. And now Ling. Tenace. Stingline didn't come at him. Allowed him to get the kick away towards half forward. Varco's got 2 to beat Brett Jones. He's one of the 2. Wirapunda is the other one who peels off.
He doesn't get a great result for his foot usage, Tenace, does he? He had time to really do something hurtful with that.
Nice grab by Mitch Brown.
Well, that's better because they couldn't. Hanson didn't get it early, so it's a great start from young Mitch Brown there.
Sends it along in the direction of Daniel Cheer. Can't grab it. Lynch thought about the handball, gives it to Armstrong. Cut off by Tenace. See how he uses it this time. It's by hand. Enright. Chip cuts it off. Great forward pressure. Handball to Lynch. Doesn't get the snap away. Scarlett's smother magnificent.
It was a genuine put your head down and you're going to get the ball. That's a super single effort.
It was good pressure all round. You see Scarlett there. You're right, Parko. He just put his head on the line and arms.
On the ball in, Mackey. Corey didn't appear to have it. Chick appeared to half throw it. Stingline dished it off to CB. Rowan Jones from 51. High kick to the goal square. Tough one to mark. Free kick.
Yeah, Lynch was hanging on to Scarlett there.
Lacroix thought he had the mark or the free, and Umpire gave him neither.
We'll give that to the fullbacks here, Dwayne. We see Lynch took his eyes off the ball.
Yep. And stop Scarlett for getting over and getting into the contest.
Correct weight.
Scarlett makes it tough for Mackie. Straight down the corridor. Stokes, who hasn't seen a lot of it. Second possession for him. And Travis Varco takes them on. Kick not so good. Waters cuts it off. Tackled well. Dispossessed. No free for Steve Johnson. Wachinski, hard to tackle. Gets the handball up. Gary Ablett knows where they are here and misses.
A very good team up by Barco. Then he really saw Ablett coming and put his body on the line for his mate. Pity that didn't result in the goal.
Well, you're right, Parker, because Selwood's done a fantastic job on Ablett, and you need some help when you're getting tagged like that, and Gary Ablett would be rapt to know that his teammates are trying to play for him.
Sacrificial act of the highest order.
Waters to Judd. Massive crowd here at Skilled Stadium this afternoon. Standing room only. And there's a real buzz in the town when there's a local game, a home game to watch on a Sunday. Wide kick to Stengline, and he takes the mark. Pokes it to Kerr. He's being tagged by Ling, but
one of his rare ones, Dwayne. He's only had 4 or 5.
Well, the beauty of it, he's getting all his possessions behind the centre. It's when he gets the possessions forward of the centre where he hurts the opposition. So Ling's really forcing Kerr deep into Geelong's forward line.
Jones spears the pass to Hunter, too far out to score. Lead comes from Lynch in his direction, got it. Strong hands.
Scarlett looked at Ottens and said, what were you doing there? I need a bit of a hand. You could have taken him out.
He just didn't get down there in time. I think that's what Scarlett was talking about. He said, mate, just come down a little bit quicker.
Yes,
the ball was on the wing for about 10 seconds. If you're going to play behind the ball, come down and help and stand in the corridor.
He's kicked 10 goals this year. Quentin Lynch coming off a good season last year. 65 goals, 33, including those 3 goals in the grand final.
That's rare. Did you see that? His own runner went to run across the mark. Is that 50 against?
Would have been taken off him, perhaps.
Yeah, that's a good call.
From the 50, low trajectory kick. Hits the post.
Well, I think John Morsfeld's going to have to keep Lynch down there, so it'll be interesting to see what he does with Seaby. See if Seaby can run the quarter out. It's a big ask.
Mackie receives Milburn's kick in. Enright takes on Kerr. That's dangerous. Gives it to Kerr's man Ling. Enright, Scarl. Ling. Tenace. Wachinski. Now long kick coming up. He runs the line. Runs himself out of trouble. All the way to 50. Caught. Dumped. Gone.
Well, I think you can get away with it once against the West Coast Eagles, but not twice, 3, 4 times. You're just dueling with death there.
And we're hoping to get through, Dan. We hope to get out the other side.
Not against this unit, but they're the best tackling team in the competition.
The big teeth just closed around him.
Braun finds Stengline. And across to Seaby. He's lurking on his own. Just with a poetry in slow motion from Seaby. Finally kicks to full forward. Tough bouncing ball. Lacroix down there with Armstrong. Tries to toe poke it to his own advantage. And it's going nowhere. We'll get a ball up. Rowan Smith.
Gary Ablett's just playing up the ground. Adam Selwood's doing a really good job. Maybe he should just move himself to full forward and try and get Adam Selwood out on the lead.
I reckon that's a clear indication why CB big blokes don't let him kick the ball.
West Coast winning the clearances, and they won't win this one. They're tied up by Ling.
Too long to think about it.
From the ball up. Lynch. Bartell. Mackie. Stolen. Kick around the body by Prentice toward goal. It's through. He's growing with each passing game, Matt Prentice.
Well, he's starting on the bench, David. He's had 7 possessions. No Ben Cousins. Cameron Ling's doing a very good job on Kerr. Judd's going okay. What a great weapon to have. Not only does he win the ball, but he puts a lot of time into direct opponent. He's playing on Bartell at the moment, so not only is he winning the ball, but he's playing on a very good player for the opposition. That was just a very clever snap.
Oh, and his capacity to read what was going to happen, because the hand pass wasn't meant for him. He intercepted one from his mate.
Playing just his 9th game, Matt Prittis. Had he been playing for any other AFL club, he's probably be in the 20s, not the 30s by now, but it's a tough team to break into, the West Coast, and Ben Cousins not in the team this year. He's grabbed his opportunity and he's kicked his opening goal for the afternoon. Two young stars side by side, Gary Ablett and Adam Selwood from the ball up. Kerr, who's getting a fair bit of it now. Possession number 9 for Kerr now. Wirrapunda, Rosa. And he sends it wide. Good fist away. Milburn dumps it across the boundary line and will get a ball in. But at least Mitch Brown is giving a contest up forward.
Talking about getting a lot of the ball, Rosa's had the 12 possessions, so he's playing a good game in the wing there.
Alton's doing the ruck work. Bartel can't get through traffic and hangs onto it, which is the right thing to do in the back line when you get caught. And you can disguise it well enough. You haven't had prior opportunity. Stingline 5 marks in the last 20 minutes. Adam Selwood, 3rd man out. Bartel, 10 ace. Ablett backtracks to get himself some space. Mackie, who appears to be the go-to man at the moment in defence, all the way back to Scarlett, half volleyed it, was paid the mark. On the 6 father-sons on this Geelong list, Matthew Scarlett. Father John normally comes to the home games. Long kick. Kerr and Ling. Ling wins this battle. Was in the air. He lost the battle. He gave it away. Rosa from half forward. Pokes it inside 50 to Armstrong. Got thumped. Umpire allowed it. Ablett turns into trouble. Great chick tackle. He was dumped. Mackie dumped by Selwood. And we'll get a ball up on attacking 50 down on the boundary line. Rowan Smith.
An architect for West Coast so far this afternoon has been David Wirrapunda. Just young Stokes just have to man up on him. He's just getting too much ball running out of defence.
Kerr attempts the 3rd man up. High kick by Corey. Across from one half-back flank to the other. Kelly. And Wirrapunda see it out.
It was, Ling worked so hard to get rid of Kerr, won the ball down, and you wonder what goes through a man's mind when he had a bit of pressure from behind, unleashed a hand pass straight to Rosa. I mean, it's just
beautiful palm down by Ottens to Bartel, and he got the kick away. Wirrapunda lurking though. He's getting a few touches on Stokes. Wide over the head of Braun.
Well, that's the beauty of Prittis. We saw Prittis there all over Jimmy Bartel, and it's a great weapon to have, a guy like Prittis. We see Ottens come on, Blake on the ground. So Bartel and Prittis playing tight football.
Blake to Corey. Wachinski dumped. He knew the tackle was coming, so he just slowly dropped himself. And the tackle was always going to be high then. Just goes down. Tackle high. Blake. It's a handball off to Milburn. Inside 50, good mark by Glass, and takes them on to Hanson, who spent some time on the bench, didn't have a good opening term, so they took him off. Waters, Prittis, Waters, Staker, Hunter, working it around in defence, Brown, Hanson, and Lynch is long, it's in his direction, Scarlett's got him. Umpire allows play on. Judd twists. Caught.
Great tackle.
And holding the ball.
One for the scrapbook. That's the first time I've seen him caught.
Well, you can smell a goal, Chris Judd. You've got to give credit where it's due. He's a superstar, Chris Judd, and that's just a magnificent tackle. The beauty about that tackle from Joel Corey, he tackled Judd with his hips, with his body.
Ablett sweeps the handball wide to Milburn. Along the wing, Brett Jones gets there. Pretty good collect that, although he took it out. He didn't let it get behind him, and that was the important thing. Ball in. Big crowd, as we said. Bright sunshine here at Skilled Stadium this afternoon. Quite often see dirty conditions, windy and rainy conditions here at Skilled Stadium, but today it's pristine. Staker to Judd. Been a while since Geelong's last goal. Wirrapunda, Staker. Through Varco, not through Ablett. And the crowd get what they called for. Bartel, Nathan Ablett. Dishes off to Selwood, spears the pass for Wirrapunda. Mooney got hands on it. Offhand, Steve Johnson normally makes something out of nothing. Does it again.
Oh, he's a freak.
Well, the thing with Steve Johnson again, David, he holds his feet. West Coast Eagles players went to the ground. We were punters having a fairly good game, but as soon as you go to the ground as a defender, you're in a lot of trouble, especially on a player such as Steve Johnson. Great contest here from Mooney and Glass, who we just see we're a punter. Yeah, look, probably a little bit harsh. He did get bumped off the ball, but just got a great awareness, Johnson, hasn't he? As soon as you see him get that ground level ball, you can smell a goal.
He's got some funny aspects of his play, I think, that frustrate us all, particularly his coach. But when he's around the ball, stays on his feet, he's just so clever at setting up and finishing that you've got to have him on the side. You see, he'll have bad days and down days, but when he delivers, he delivers.
Cats back in front by 2 points. Steve Johnson now with 2 goals for the afternoon. Bounce. Blake down to Ling. Ablett starting to have an influence. Bartel, who's had an influence from the opening bounce. Wide to Nathan Ablett. Dished it off. Stokes. And Glass takes the mark in front of Mooney.
There's no need to call for that handball there. Just Stokes shouldn't have called for it. He just put himself under pressure, had to kick the ball high, went straight to Glass, and look what happens here. The Eagles are going for it.
Prittis, got it from Brett Jones. Sends it in the Lynch direction. Scarlett right with him, or Lynch. David Johnson caught high.
Well, you want to see that from your big fellas there. Just probably should have kept his hands down. Nothing in it. Free kick. That's all it was.
Egan. Straight down the corridor. Takes them on with a bounce. It's not his forte normally. And doesn't do himself any favours here to Rosa. Wants to go back into the corridor. Hansen. He's got Lynch on the lead. He goes wide. Lynch turns his back on it. Has to come back to try and find it. He looked around and saw Scarlett looking at the ball.
Well, both sides' disposal going forward at the moment. They're just bombing the ball. They need to put the ball out in front of the forwards. Give them a chance.
Ablett Jr., terrible kick, just to emphasise what you're saying. Stengline. Waters.
Well, Geelong are dominating the contested possessions, Dwayne, but the Clangers, 9 to Geelong, 21 to Geelong, 9 to the Eagles.
Hearn inside 50. Lacroix caught, dispossessed. Lynch comes hard. Chick's waiting for it. Gets the handball out, does Daniel Chick. Judd, pocket, tries to shrug Bartel. Arguably the best tackler on the Geelong side, Jimmy Bartel. To Steve Johnson. Corey. Enright. And now the free man on the outer side is Ling. He can run. Chips the kick instead to Wachinski.
The Blake on in the middle.
He'll have to handball Blake. Does so. Mackie. Nathan Ablett. Position A. Can't take the mark. Good palm down. Varco. Handball terrible to Waters. Stengline. It's around Varco with ease as well. Brett Jones runs away from Varco.
What's this long kick?
Hearn just pulled it. Quentin Lynch got a hand to it. Scarlett wants to keep it alive. Egan, Ablett. They can reload the Cats. Joel Selwood sends it long. Nathan Ablett inside 50. Not the second grab. Stengline keeps his feet.
Well done, Stokes.
Stokes picks it up, steals it, and it misses across the face. Matty Stokes.
He's held his body well, Stokes hasn't. A couple of real physical onslaughts. He's been able to keep his feet. No.
There's been a lot of mistakes, but I'll tell you what, the tackling and defensive pressure from both teams, it's great to watch.
Yeah, I love that.
He's not young, Matthew Stokes. He's played against men for a few years in the Sandful for Woodville Torrens and in Darwin as well. And he is 23 years of age, or turns 23 this year. So even though he hasn't played a lot of games, this is game 12. He's used to feeling hard bodies. Credits to Brett Jones. Waters was meant for Staker, but Waters took it. Inside 50 towards Chick. Jimmy Bartel.
He's one of the best marks for an on-ball I've seen, David, for a player of his height.
Brave.
14th possession for Jimmy Bartel. Milburn. His kicker wobbler. And wide. Made it tough for Mooney, and Glass off his toe. And the umpire says it wasn't deliberate.
we can complain about kicks going in, but actually the kick to Nathan Ablett, the long one before that went in, was perfectly placed. He should have taken that. I mean, he was, given the best possible access.
18 minutes gone, second term. Judd takes them on. Towards half forward. Mitch Brown couldn't mark it. Bartel. Enright. Tenace. Wojcinski. And he can run and send it long. Nathan Ablett might lead back to the goal square. Mooney does, in fact. Nathan Ablett leads short. Gathers it. Gets the handball up. Joel Selwood. To Wojcinski. Takes on Jones. Sends it long towards the goal square. Mooney's down there. Hearn with the big fist. Dumps it through for a behind.
Well, that high ball, the Eagles will chop you out. Wojcinski's first kick going forward.
Terrible.
Just had to be better than that. An AFL footballer, I know he's playing well. He's getting a lot of the ball, but just have to hit the target.
Blake gets back. Takes the mark on the wing.
Judd off Kerr on for the Eagles.
Bartel to Stokes. Pokes it in the Gary Ablett direction. Boundary line. Selwood. And we'll get a ball in.
Looks pretty tired down there, Rowan Smith. Chris Judd just coming off the ground.
Yep.
Yeah, that's exactly right. He's just bent over, just having a little bit of a rest. But Judd comes off, Kerr comes on. It's not about interchange, boys.
Had the 10 possessions. Chris Judd from the ball in. Handball was good from Seaby, Hunter, Armstrong for the midfield. Mitch Brown. Lacroix. Stenglein. Lynch leads for it long. It's in his direction. Got it. Just inside the boundary line. Cats getting numbers back in defence. Hansen leads short, and he's within range.
Goals have been at a premium, haven't they? I mean, it's very hard to get. And don't say because it's flooding in the true sense of the word, the players are getting off and just getting back in numbers. It's been the entry into 50 for both sides have been, I think, just average, and the inability of forwards to win, difficult balls.
Has kicked the goal already this afternoon, Ashley Hansen. Tough kick this, but he's kickable. Shallow pocket there. Not bad off the boot. Hits the goal square and over the top of the pack. A behind.
Well, it is a game of wills at the moment. Both sides, a real arm wrestle.
Yeah, well, they scored reasonably freely in the first quarter. Looked like a 15 or 16 goal game, but nothing's happening at the moment.
Bartel to Scarlett. Wojcinski, who should run, spears the pass to Mooney. Now Wojcinski runs. Runs backwards. Mooney. Loads up with a long kick. Hawkins down there waiting for it. Can't get a fly at it. Brett Jones takes the mark. Would have got the free regardless, although at stake is free. Tom Hawkins forced to push from behind. Hasn't seen a lot of it, Tom Hawkins. Just the 2 possessions so far. Prittis. Hansen. Starting to get a piece of it now.
Great tackle.
Dragged down. The turnover not paid. Joel Selwood not rewarded for the tackle. Natives a little restless. Wirapunda. Armstrong in the pocket. Driven into the ground. Could have been a free against Tenace. It's the evener upper. Enright. Milburn. Kelly. David Johnson. And now Ottens. Although Stenglein got a finger on it, that was enough. Seaby. Ottens took him on. Stenglein turns it over. Cradon's about to send it inside 50. Stokes. Back to Tom Hawkins. He's got a big roost on him, Tom. And loads up wide. A behind.
Go back to that call. We all thought he was well tackled. Umpire saying clearly kick the ball. Clearly kick the ball. He made the example, and I didn't see the ball hit the foot at any stage.
Kick in. He is still in play. Rowan Jones. Tom Hawkins. And now Glass. Chips it to Prittis. Lead comes from Wirapunda, who's now forward. It's not in his direction. Enright coming back with a flight again.
Good courage, Enright.
Milburn to Mooney. Cats on the rebound. Wants to come back into the corridor. Kelly. Wojcinski. Kerr chases him. Little push. He's in the backside. Oh, and he's knocked him down. He's down behind play. umpire allows play to go on. Daniel Kerr still on his hands and knees. And we'll get a ball in.
Trainer going out to Kerr.
Be interesting to see if that comes up on the replay. Otten, short throw in. Kelly. Stokes. Caught. Critis. Good tackle by Kelly. Not rewarded. Brett Jones. Joel Sherwood bumped. Braun bumped. And rode the bump well. And he'll get the free kick, Braun.
The game's starting to heat up. I know it's not ticking over on the scoreboard, but some great physical clashes at the moment.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Dan. It should have heated up a long while ago. With so much hanging on this game, I expected a hell of a lot more.
Yeah.
Braun. Lynch. Spoiled by Scarlett. Wachinski. Stokes. Tenace. Not a lot to go too long. Forced a handball wide. Milburn. Now the leads come. Mooney's on the lead and got it.
That's better. That's good.
Maybe
That's
just
Gary
beyond his range.
Keeping the square here on his own, one-on-one.
The two Ablett boys, Nathan and Gary will do. Drops the mark. Selwood. Caught. Pushing the back to Nathan Ablett, not played. Now he's over it. And Brett Allen doesn't pay him holding the ball. It gives him the benefit of the doubt.
Well, the two Ablets have dropped two certain goals by not taking what they should have.
See the kick here from Wachinski. Look at that chase from Kerr, though. Magnificent chase.
Cats get one out of the ball up.
That's the advantage of having a real ruckman in the forward line who's capable of doing those things.
Well, he's had a bit of an impact, Brett Ottens, as we see here, the stoppage. And he grabbed the last one, and that's great play. He thought there's an open gate there. There's no defender in front of me. I'm going to grab the ball and have a crack at it. And that is a very, very good goal.
Well, how hard is it to get a goal? I mean, how often they've been there. Both sides have run it out, carried it through the midfield, set up pressureless entries into the forward line, and somehow it's gone wrong.
Cats by 10 points. Just over a minute to half-time, and the natives still a little restless. And that goal should have soothed them somewhat. Selwood. Kelly tries to get it out. Kerr. Ling right with him. Drags him down. And we'll get another ball up. 1 minute and 6 seconds from half-time.
I'm just worrying how much this game has actually taken out. In the run it has, but I don't think in the physicality it's been all that demanding a game. Now that might be a very biased view.
In a while since the West Coast last goal. Hearn to Hansen, and he will line up to rectify it.
Well, he's only had the 5 disposals, Hansen, but if he kicks this, he's done his job in the half of football. If you can kick 2 as a centre-half forward, you've done your job.
Yeah, you called it, Dan. He was very ineffective early. Couldn't get it, couldn't do anything with it. He's come off the bench and made an impact. Midfield, gone forward now. Looks to me that he's running back into the kind of form that we know he can produce.
In the shadows of half-time to reduce the margin to 4 points. Already kicked 1 this afternoon. Still only got 1. It's a 9-point lead, and it's all about this kick-in now. Don't need to turn it over, and that'll be the half-time score. Milburn. Scarlett. And Kelly. Maybe turn it over. Stenglein. Seconds being eaten up, but a last chance here. Seavey caught, dumped. Ling to the midfield. Wachinski, he's quick, but he's not that quick. Speed of sound still quicker than him. And it's half-time here at Skilled Stadium. And it's been a very tight tussle. The Cats, they go in with a lead at half-time. Gary Ablett hasn't had a massive influence, but it's been an evenly spread affair. 6-8-44 Geelong. West Coast, 5-5-35. So So the second half here at Skill Stadium underway. Cats by 9 points, and Bartel, who had a great first half, gets the takeaway to start the second half. Nathan Ablett, Chick, Brett Jones, Varco, the tackle, and Chick around the body. Rosa can't collect the half volley, but Chinsky and Judd somehow snared it. Adam Selwood at half back. Rosa, Waters, Adam Selwood again. No one really to go to. Mooney turned around. Seaby didn't know where the ball was, and Mooney took the mark to Milburn.
Cardinal Sin Seaby turned his back on the flight of the ball.
Wachinski, and now Ottens. Cats about to go inside 50. Ottens has a number of options. Sent us the ball. It's over the head of Tom Hawkins. Hasn't had a big afternoon, young Tom. Judd gets it from Staker, gives it to Seaby. He's held up on the wing.
Well, young Hawkins didn't have the lead then. Varco was on. All he did was bring his
Painted on top of the other way.
which is really bad play for young Tom. He'll learn from that. Just needs to widen his vision. Someone's one-on-one, leave them one-on-one.
Rosa long. Rowan Jones, good mark. Milburn took his own man Mackie out, but strong hands to Scarlett. Straight down the middle. Nathan Abbott on the move.
Scarlett, the leading possession player on the ground, was 16.
Been terrific, Dan.
Brother on the move now, and Nathan to Gary Jr.
Good signs here, good ball use.
This time Hawkins in the hole, getting back. Glass got a fingernail on it. Varco shrugs his tackle, and now Chick. Hasn't got a lot to go to again. The West Coast at half-back. Rosa, Waters, and now the free man Seaby, Pritis. She put Braun under immense pressure. Enright cut it off. Ball still in dispute. Gathered by Enright. Pokes it to Steve Johnson. He might create something. Long load up. Cam Mooney's inside 50. Can't snare it. About to grab the crumb. And think about the snap. Spins it around the body. And there's the perfect start to the second half.
Well, we've had one long, and it was, he looked up, and instead of going short to somebody on his lead, he said, there's a hole out the back. I'll give this everything I've got. And he unloaded it. What's Enright, is it? Unloaded it over the top. No, Johnson. Just jumped right into it, Johnson.
And the key to this again, Parko, you've got to hold your feet. Staker went to ground far too easy there. You are done and dusted on the ground. Mooney, well, it was a great goal in the end, but just got to steel yourself and hold your feet.
Second goal of the afternoon for Cameron Mooney, the new mild-mannered Cameron Mooney this year. 4 suspensions last year alone, which is a record in AFL footy. But he's a different man this year. From the ball up, and it's a different Cats in the last 2 weeks to the 2 previous weeks before that, when they lost games they were expected to win. Judd, caught, Bartel. Otten's got the handball out. Ablett somehow through traffic but lost it. Spears the pass to Nathan.
Worrying signs here for the Eagles. Yeah, Geelong absolutely smashing the Eagles in the clearances. We're now 24 clearances to 13. Brad Otten's been superb. Young Gary Ablett in traffic is no better player, and just the kick was better, Parko.
Yeah, fantastic. There's been 5 entries, 1 to West Coast, 4 to, and we've only had 2 effective ones. This is the second effective entry into the forward line.
He's kicked 14 goals this season. Nathan Ablett coming off a 4-goal-1 performance last week. He's got 1 this afternoon, and it stays at 1. Little bit of post. Waters. The Eagles under pressure, undefeated.
Well, they are under pressure because they have not had the ball inside their forward. They're going once this quarter, and Judd, every possession he gets, he's under pressure.
Judd gave to Pritis, Braun, Rosa, play on advantage. There would have been a free. Pritis, some reason to Staker, wanted to come back into the corridor. Selwood caught high. Any higher, he would have missed him completely. Cam Mooney just talked about his suspensions.
Oh, he's a lovely gentlemanly actor.
It was. He gave him the higher 5. Hanson wide, and the mark's been taken by Hunter. 50 from goal.
It was a magnificent mark, but Milburn asked the question, was there hands in the back? And I have to agree with him a little bit. Even though it was a very good mark from Hunter, Milburn thought, well, how did I mark the ball? We see Hunter pushing the ball forward here. Yeah, there was a little bit of a hand. Yeah. Good mark.
You know they don't play that all the time. Hunter kicks it out of bounds on the full, and Cat fans believe that's poetic justice. It's a behind, it's just scraped in.
I'm just trying to look after defenders, Dwayne, because we get the rough end of the stick a fair bit.
We do.
One of the rare fullbacks to ever have won a best and fairest as well, Danny. They don't get many accolades. Ottens wide. Kelly keeps it inboard. Enright chased down by Seavey. Good tackle. Dispossessed. Judd takes on Ablett to sting line. Brett Jones over the head of Waters. Maybe another turnover. Wachinski dumped by Waters. The game's lifted a cog. And we'll get a ball up inside the centre square. 51 plays 36. Here's the head high from Cam Mooney.
Just had to go low there, Cam Mooney, with the arms. Here's where the Geelong are on top, though, and the clearance. A little headache there out of Selwood.
Otten's in the ruck.
He's on fire, Ottens.
Corey got the handball out through legs. Bartel having another sensational afternoon. 19th possession for Jim Bartel inside 50, and Staker takes the mark. Crowd crying for a free kick. Bartel again. Well, if he gets votes this afternoon, Jimmy Bartel.
Deliberate here on Daniel Chick, Dwayne.
He'll be one of the boys leading in the Brownlow, I think. He is having a sensational season, Bartel. And he gets the deliberate free, sends it long. Mooney there. And Glass thumps it through for a behind. One of those fullbacks who've never had any recognition. All-Australian, of course, has been Glass, but he's never received the Brownlow vote. Speaking of the Brownlow. Selwood, half-back flank. Steers it for Rowan Jones. Milburn, good spoil. Enright just thumps it back in the Cam Mooney direction. Glass is with him. They both had a little piece of each other. Nathan Ablett, boundary line. We'll get a ball in. Rowan Smith on the boundary.
I've just been watching Nathan Ablett over the last couple of minutes. He's deceptively quick. He doesn't look overly quick, but he's a very smart leader as well. And it's just young Jones is going to have to match up on him just watching his leads.
Ottens and Seavey from the ball in. Seavey front spot. Ottens wrestles him out of it and gives away the free. And we'll kick the behind anyway. So
It's a free kick to Gary Ablett off the ball, Brian. Selwood.
Well, we were certain it was a ruck infringement that's off the ball.
So which one takes precedence? If there's two frees simultaneously in the ruck and off the ball, which one?
Well, the umpire obviously didn't think Ottens transgressed.
Okay.
So that was play on. And then just off the ball, Selwood was hanging on to Gary Ablett. So bit of the umpire the benefit of the doubt there.
We had a cancellation of our game yesterday, Dan.
Yeah, there was.
One in the play, one off the play, and they were two opposite teams, so they bounced the ball up.
Gary Ablett Jr. to extend this lead. He hasn't kicked a goal this afternoon. Kicked 3-1 last week. He's got 8 for the season. Big kick this. Might put the West Coast on the canvas.
Worrying signs.
That was never in doubt.
Well, worrying signs for West Coast, but good signs, I think, for Geelong. I reckon they've struggled through this. They've created more opportunities. They've been, as you suggested, far better inside. They've got the run. It's only been amount of the delivery into the forward line, which has been, I think, very average.
We just saw on the replay there, Selwood just put Gary Ablett on the ground, but it's Geelong's half-back line. Enright and Milburn. The Eagles just cannot get the ball past those two players.
Biggest lead of the game so far. 22-point lead to the Cats. It's been 28 minutes since the West Coast have scored a goal. From the ball up, Judd trying to inspire his team, but again, he was collected as soon as he grabbed the ball. Tenace. Wide. Stokes is there with Ottens. Chick comes hard, thumps it to the boundary line, and we'll get a ball in.
Well, Ottens is pushing forward now. Blake into the ruck, but again, the clearance is 26-13. If this trend continues, I can't see the Eagles getting back in the game. They're just not getting their hands on the ball in these instances here, in these stoppages. We see Otten's push forward.
Seavey up against Blake, just off the bench. Rosa, caught by Wachinsky. Ball still in there. And Ablett going, well, he's sort of going along the boundary line, and the umpire allowed him to play on. Mooney, held by Glass. Bartel, back to Mooney. Cats inspired at the moment. Spearing kick. Stokes, too far out to score. He's got Steve Johnson.
Good ball use.
Oh,
Blake's on his own.
He's got Blake, who's never kicked a goal. A chance for history.
Well, he's not going to get a better chance than this, Dwayne, because he's marked the ball directly in front. And full credit to Mark Thompson, because Ottens came on the grounds. We see Johnson with the ball here. He's going to have a shot, but just lowered his eyes and saw Blake. Good play. Make the opposition ruckman accountable, but more importantly, Paco, make him pay by kicking this goal.
Well, his father, Rod, played 176 games for the Cats and won the best and fairest in 1980. Over to you, son. And he misses. He hits the post.
Well, that's a bit sad, isn't it? It did everything to miss, didn't it? Did a 6 metre left in the last 10 metres to get the post. Almost like a magnet. Look at the two ruckmen are working, aren't they?
They are.
Dan, that's been, I'm not big on big men. We won't whisper that round too loud, but they are making a difference here.
Oh, they certainly are. Ottens and Blake, they're working in tandem. Without Cox, I just can't see the Eagles getting back into the game unless Judd and Kerr turn it on.
Daniel Chick, back pocket. Lead out to 23 points now for the Cats. Fence.
And that's a real issue. Every time the Eagles will get it, they're under pressure. They have to go wide. They're not getting the ball through the middle of the ground. Full credit to the Geelong half-forward line. They're really putting pressure on the Eagles' half-back line.
Blake and Seavey. Blake down to Ling. Gary Ablett, Bartel, Wachinsky with speed. Runs to 52. Wobbles it toward the line. Hunter left it behind. And the kick tough for Glass. Plenty of numbers for the Eagles. Stengline. 18th possession for him. Adam Selwood. Along the wing. Cam Mooney flies.
Again, going wide, long down the line. They need to take the game on the Eagles through the middle like Geelong are in this passage of play.
Ablett might go all the way from 52. No one in the goal square. It's there. And they can smell it, the Cats.
Well, that's the difference, Paco. The Eagles are slow. They're going long outside the corridor. They turn the ball over. We see a good contest here from Cam Mooney. But the key here, he looks inboard straight away. He gets back off the mark, and his first look is in. Has a look, gets back off the mark, and there's the free player. Again, Blake, he's playing some sort of game, and that's what you want to think, fellas. Give it to the runners, Paco. Great goal.
I was here 12 months ago, was it, when they were looking at about an 8-goal deficit, the Eagles. I don't want to wipe them off at this stage. They actually come back and to win a game, one of the most exciting games I've ever seen. But I don't know where it's going to come from today. They don't show anything at this stage in terms of the confidence and the ball movement that you've won, or the ball winning too.
Yes, that was round 10 here at Skilled Stadium last year. The West Coast came from 54 points down. At about this point in the third term, the charge started. From the ball up, Stengline to half forward. Brown caught, dispossessed, Bilburn. He sends it long. Half forward, Nathan Ablett, Brett Jones. Brett Jones, Nathan Ablett. Now Braun with Kelly. Kelly keeps his feet. Caught. Good tackle by Chick. And he gets a possession for his trouble.
Can they get it forward to mark the ball?
It's been the hard part for them. And the turnover almost. Milburn.
Very terrific.
Armstrong chasing him down. Joel Selwood. Run down, ducked out of the tackle.
Great awareness, Joel Selwood.
And now Egan. Long ball on the move. Ottens. And he marks on 50.
Well, it's a good matchup for Geelong because Glass is on Mooney and Hunter is giving away about 9 centimetres on Brad Ottens.
They're all undermanned, aren't they? The whole three key positions are almost a head height lower than their opponent.
We know Ottens will get the trip.
65 plays 36. Brad Ottens. Nice off the boot. Straight over the goal umpire's hat. West Coast Eagles on the canvas.
Well, you'd be pleased that that's where they got him here. I think he's an excellent ruckman, and you damn know better than I do about him as a player. And then try to make him a forward, and then it didn't sort of work. But to have a quality bloke who can go in there and hurt you, both as a ruckman and as a marking forward, but to do it round the ground, that's been... And Blake's just taken up another level, hasn't he?
Well, that was fantastic. Everyone's jumped early, but the kick, David, here's one of the most technically correct kicks you'll ever see. Copybook.
It's interesting. He's an interesting guy because I know he doesn't show great emotion about his footy. That's the other thing that you wonder whether he's totally sort of immersed in it.
This game almost beyond the West Coast now. Still plenty of time left in this third term. It's about where they started their comeback last year from 54 down. Rowan Smith on the boundary.
Well, it's just interesting to see, Dwayne, that David Wirapuna in the start of this third quarter has started on the bench, and he's just come on the 16-minute mark of this last quarter, loose man in defence.
Judge Long, they need a mark inside 50. Lacroix, half held by David Johnson. Now held in by David Johnson, will get a ball up.
Well, that's their first clean clearance, the Eagles. They are getting smashed around the stoppages, 29-14, Geelong's way.
From the ball up, Judd laying a tackle now, and we'll get a secondary ball up when they did come from 54 points down last year. According to the Brownlow votes anyway, it was Cox and Cousins who got the 2 and the 1 votes in that game that helped get them back, along with Daniel Kerr, who was best on ground. From the ball up, Adler takes it and sends it towards half forward. Brett Jones, Waters, back with the traffic. Nathan Abbott over the top. He did well not to give a free kick away. Daniel Chick chases him down. Kick towards Ottens. Coming back, Hunter with the flight. Wirapuna.
Good
His
pressure.
kick half smothered. Magnificent pressure. And the crowd rising with their team at the moment.
Well, there's no easy possession for the Eagles.
No,
That's what Mark Thompson will be wrapped with, because you can say that Geelong half back line are on top, but it starts here in the forward line for Geelong by their tackling and pressure.
Down to Bartel. Varco from the pocket. What was it to full forward? Mooney down there with Hunter. And no free kick. And Cameron Mooney asks why there was no free kick.
Well, this is danger signs here. We've got Ottens versus Lynch in the ruck.
Ottens down to Varco. Ottens steals it back. Stokes. Snap on the left.
There it is. Ottens.
Just about a one-man band, isn't it? But he hit it down, gathered his own, and slipped the hand pass.
Well,
fantastic.
All due respect to Big Lynchy, he's a key forward. He's not a ruckman, and I've seen that today. Brad Ottens, when he's on song, I don't think there's a better in the top 2 or 3 ruckmen in the competition, and his ability to go forward. That's what you want from your big fellas.
Top team, the undefeated team in the competition. It's been impressive. Seavey and Ottens. Ottens made him earn it.
And that's a great challenge, Dwayne, for Mark Thompson and the coaching staff. I'm sure they'll be saying and pouring to their players at three-quarter time. We've won 3 quarters. We just have to win 1 more.
Seavey long. Judd at half forward takes the mark. Use of the body. Kicks to full forward. Armstrong there again. But he won't miss this one. He won't kick this one. They've turned it over, and that's the story of their day. Hunter couldn't get the kick away. Cam Mooney salutes the crowd. Says, how do you like it? Short pass to Mackie.
Well, I think that was Hunter's fault. He shouldn't have called for the ball. It's Armstrong.
Armstrong doesn't want to kick it. If you're in the 10 metres, he doesn't want to kick it. That's the point he's got to in the game.
Yeah, you're right. You're spot on.
Pulling Enright. Hawkins flies. Sting line. Hawkins steals it back again. Pokes it inside 50 to Varco. Wirapuna front spot.
Tommy Hawkins just in that contest got on the top of Stokes there. How's he look there, Rowan Smith?
He looks pretty sore.
Chip kick is okay to Glass from Critis. Brown. Varco didn't quite grab it as he perhaps should have. Nathan Ablett. Tom Hawkins. And now Bartel, Stokes comes off on the siren. Three-quarter time here. Bartel has a shot on the siren, really loads up, and he's scored.
He should be cancelled one. It wasn't another hit on the ball. Shouldn't have been.
It depends on whether it's a motion to push it through or whether it's just off hands.
Yeah, I think they adjudicated. No,
he thumped it through. Three-quarter time here at Skilled Stadium. It doesn't look as if it'll matter because the Cats have the undefeated West Coast Eagles on the canvas at the moment. Geelong dominating this contest, 11-12-78 to the West Coast 5-9-39.
Great job, Cameron Link.
From the ball up to start this final term here at Skilled Stadium, Ottens gets the takeaway straight away to Corey. He's had another good afternoon at the office, caught by Judd though. Stengline stolen back by Ottens. Ling, Mackie, Ablett. Plenty of bodies in the middle, and he hits Corey. He can send it inside 50. A long bomb. Tom Hawkins the target. Off hands for Rapunda, as he does so well. Takes it off hands to Waters.
Just watch Tom Hawkins the last couple of contests, Dave. He's just behind. Just needs to present himself and get that big frame in front.
Started looking at umpires and questioning and doing those things. Don't want to get into those bad habits early in your career.
Judd. 20 possessions for him. That was number 21. Rosa beaten for it by David Johnson. Back to centre half forward to Mackie. Good fist on it by Seaby. Ablett there, lurking. 3 to beat, Gary Ablett Jr. Shuffled back to Rapunda, and now Judd. Crowd not happy. And for most of the afternoon they have been fairly well pleased with what they've seen. Not necessarily from the umpires though. Bounce unkind for Lynch. Egan caught. Gee, big tackle on Selwood. And high from Rosa.
Yeah, after that contest, Andrew Mackie just took a while to get up off the ground. You see Seaby and Mackie there. Ooh. Hard contest. Coming off the ground, Mackie.
Joel Selwood might need to come off as well.
How's he look, Rowan Smith?
Yeah, he looks a bit dazed, actually. Yeah, just have him right here in front of me. Just copped a knock to the head.
Chip kick is good to Wachinski. Takes on Adam Selwood as Joel does come off. Kick inside 50. Ottens from 4D couldn't mark it. Brett Jones from Wirrapunda. Trittis mops up a little mess at half back. Rowan Jones. Great fist by Kelly. No one to kick too long. Has to go short. Now Ottens provides a long option. And Wirrapunda was lurking in front of Ottens. Easy mark.
It was a poor kick and finish, wasn't it? Kelly should have done better. Now down to get a bit of aerial height, and the big fella would have clamped it.
Hearn. Waters. Hearn bounces past Corey. With a long kick of the ball. Spears it inside 50. Overheads. Chance here for Hunter. Doesn't get it back. Staker goes all the way himself and kicks out of bounds on the full. It's been an un-West Coast Eagles-like performance.
Had too much time there, Staker. You've got to straighten your body up. When you've got time like that, straighten your body up towards goal and kick through it. Just a lazy kick.
It was a lazy kick.
Enright to Ottens. Ling. Spectacular afternoon at the office for Cameron Ling. Ablett couldn't mark it. Hawkins crumbs it. Fires the handball out. Wachinski. Varco normally celebrates his goals big time.
Well, he is a pretty celebrates have to work pretty hard. Right, he's in the right spot at the right time. That's it. But the hard work before, even Hawkins got in front on your call. Yeah, well, it didn't take them up, but caused the drop in the zone, and eventually a crummer goal, which we haven't seen much for the day.
And it started through Brad Ottens out in the wing again, David.
Yeah,
the best big man on the ground by the length is Flemington straight.
First goal of the afternoon for Travis Varco, second year on the list for him. He is an extrovert, and he's tapered down his celebrations a little. He can sing, he can rap, he can play instruments. He's got the lot. So he has a long career with the Cats. Again, they go inside 50. Nathan Ablett Couldn't take the mark. Steve Johnson does. Caught in the tackle. Had it for a long time. Too long.
Again, clearance for Geelong, 35 to 19 there. This is the biggest comprehensive smacking in a clearance game I've seen for the Eagles for about 3 years, David.
And that's got to be the benchmark for them from this point on.
It's been a long time since the West Coast Eagles have been hammered by this margin.
Not a great hunting ground for them here, was it? Other than that win they had last year. I don't think they've been good here over a long period of time.
Well, 99 was the last time they won other than last year.
Seaby in the ruck. Prentice, who hasn't stopped trying. Stengline. Judd against the flow of it, keeps his feet inside 50. The handball off towards Lynch. Egan lurking. Rosa spins through a tackle, has the shot. Nothing's gone right for them all day. That does for Rosa. He snared it.
Chris Judd, you've got to admire the way he's kept at it, David. Daniel Kerr off the ground, but Judd just continually pushes forward. He's going to be a very sore boy, Chris Judd, at the end of the day. The amount of heat he's had today by 2, 3, 4 players. We've seen him get tackled to the ground again. And Rose has had a fair game too on the wing, but you've got to admire Chris Judd.
Well, he is brave, and he does a lot of aerial work, throwing himself backwards and sideways.
First goal for Matt Rosa. 54 minutes between goals for the West Coast Eagles. Didn't kick a goal in the third term. Just the 4 points for the quarter in the third, and the Cats were dominant. From the ball up, Enright. Adam Selwood in the tackle. Calling for holding the ball, doesn't get it from umpire Matthew Nichols. Will get a ball up.
Well, Seaby got that one, and there is an advantage, isn't it? If it runs forward and you can run on it in the direction you want to go, it's huge advantage.
Otten from Seaby's. Rosa. High kick inside 50 again. Coming hard as glass inside 50 for the Eagles. A chance to play straight up forward. And Lacroix going nowhere. In fact, it's Lynch.
He just squatted over the ball. Couldn't go anywhere, but no one else was going to get hold of that, were they?
And the ball up. Massive players around the ball up. Prentice. Lynch. Spins it around the body to full forward. Nice grab over the top by Cam Mooney. Lending a little hand at full back.
Yeah, he just pushed behind the ball now, Dwayne. Cam Mooney. Good strong mark.
Wasn't a good mark.
Steve Johnson in the back pocket. Cats will be inside the 8 tonight. They were 9th coming into this game today. Brown chips the kick towards Seaby.
He hasn't been out of place, young Brown. He's done some quite competent things.
And Seaby wide toward us. Marks on 50.
Geelong have put a hell of a lot of numbers behind the ball now. As we see, the Eagles just have to possess the ball, trying to break this Geelong defence.
Lynch, the kick high and hope. Big fly from Staker, off hands Jones, and it's rushed through for a behind.
No easy ball out there today for an Eagles player. I think Mark Thompson go away from this game. He wrapped with the win, David, but the ability to out-pressure the Eagles today and not give them an easy passage to goal has been first class.
Ling out wide, takes the mark, just inside the boundary line. So the Cats have got this one. Don't need any injuries from here either. Seen a couple of teams with great wins this round, lose players to knees. Wells on Friday night and the Kangaroos win, and Goddard last night in St Kilda's victory. The Cats can get away from this game with a clean slate injury-wise, and a good win like this sets up their game next week here against Fremantle.
Kerr back on the ground. Cameron Ling just introducing himself to Daniel Kerr again.
Lynch extracted it. A low trajectory torpedo inside 50. Glass. Good use of the body. Hanson can't get the snap away. Braun. No one at full forward to kick to. Judd. Wanders inside 50 to Hanson. Trying to create something. They get a consolation prize.
Well, all this has been going on. Lacroix, a little Bates, finally found a mate who can look after young Ablett. It's a bad mix-up.
What about Chris Judd's form? Again, we talked about him just before, but his ability just to slice through a defence. That's the best way to beat a flood. Take the opposition on and get past 3 or 4 players. Fantastic goal.
Except you've got to be judged to be able to do that.
Yeah. Got a fair set of wheels on him.
Two goals for Ashley Hansen, the only multiple goal kicker for the West Coast Eagles. Halfway through this final term, 84 plays 52. And the ball up, Bartel. Best on ground, you would think. Wide to Stokes. Plenty of room to move. Spears it towards Ottens. Nice grab.
Copybook football. In the middle, Bartel get his 8 clearance. Out to the wingman. Foot pass, lace out football. Ottens takes it out in front. Shot on goal. Beautiful kick from Stokes. That's been the big improvement in their game in the second half. Parko, the first half, they blazed away a little bit. They're now kicking the ball some space to their forwards.
Cats gave up picks 12, 16 and Brent Maloney to get Brad Ottens to the club from Richmond. Kick across the face. Nathan Ablett.
Wayne, he missed the easy one coming in before. He's now taken, I reckon, one of a degree of derivative about 10.1. It was a super mark.
The shot on goal is going to be about 9.92.
That's what he has in front of him. It's a big enough gap. Plenty big enough. He's got 3.
Look, he saw his father kick a few from that pocket, David. And that was just a magnificent exponent of what to do. Cool, calm, just ran around, kick the ball end over end, just forced it in front of goal.
And it is that easy. It's just easy to do that. Everybody wants to say, oh, how easy is that?
Maybe not for you alone.
No, that's exactly right.
Well, they're all getting the act now. Ottens and Mark, Nathan Ablett. Positive signs for the Cats.
Not sure how many goals his father kicked from that pocket. He kicked 1,021 goals for Geelong. Gary Ablett Sr., the record holder with the Cats, of course, and 1,030 for his career, to be 5th on the all-time list. It's an amazing family record they've got from the ball up. Enright. Spears to Stokes. Had a good second half. Back inside 50. Steve Johnson plays on. Didn't really need to do that, but just wanted to increase the degree of difficulty because he operates better under those parameters.
Well, you've explained that to me, have you, Dwayne? I wasn't quite sure what was going through his mind then.
Well, the harder it is to kick the goal.
I'd like to see him, I'm sure Mark Thompson would, just do the basics over and over again.
Yeah, that's why you and I went grey very early in our lives, Dan. Players who do that sort of stupidity.
Takra wide. Wachinski just inside the boundary line to Blake. Handball. Enright. Wachinski. Ottens couldn't quite collect it. Varco and Ottens on hands and knees to Stokes. Probably should have taken possession. Hearn rolls it outside 50 to Judd, who's got a little room to move. 2 peeling off for him, Brett Jones. And an open forward line ahead of him. They might mess it up though. Staker, Adam Selwood, Brett Jones. Still an open forward line. Hanson's short. Half volley is tough. Egan corrals him. Shoots the handball back again. Brett Jones toward Kerr. He's had an ugly afternoon, Daniel Kerr. The ball scoots past Hunter. Scarlett.
Well, great play, Geelong. We just saw Geelong get back behind the ball, and it was just magnificent hard running defensively for the Cats.
Kelly long. He's turned it over. Braun takes the mark. Stengline. Adam Selwood. And now Hunter. And he's within range, but he feeds it off instead to Judd, who goes long with a drop punt towards goal. Gee, he's good. He's really very good.
Well, I don't want to take away from the damn. The point you're trying to make, we can't really show the viewers that we watched as West Coast had a build-up round the far side. It was a fairly slow build-up, sure. We watched 7 Geelong players who started on our left. That was beyond the centre square defensively and ran as a long line straight into the defence to eventually win the ball back. I know they lost it up on the way back out, but it was just a fabulous avalanche of run, wasn't it?
First goal of the afternoon for Chris Judd as we go downstairs to Rowan Smith.
Just watching Andrew Mackie, he spent considerable time on the bench and his knee's heavily strapped, so he probably won't take any further part of the game. And just on Steve Johnson, boys, you don't want to take that flair away from his game either.
Oh,
Come on,
I
Smithy.
coach you, Smithy.
Settle down, Smithy.
That's a player talking to a coach there. David Parkin and Rowan Smith. Kick to half forward, trapped by Joel Corey.
Love that debate after, Smithy.
Yep. 20th possession for Joel Corey. Travis Varco down the race, wearing that famous number 5. He could have retired it. In fact, Gary Ablett Jr. could have had it. He elected to wear the number 29 rather than his father's old number. And Varco now has the honour of wearing it. Hearn. Gary Ablett Jr. chased him down. Armstrong, Rosa. Doesn't want to go long to Hunter. Kick wide. Hanson gets there. Got a little push. Still in play. Rosa rolls it towards goal. That's one of the goals of the year.
What a magnificent goal. He followed it up, and Peter Dacos like the final in 1990 against the Eagles to win the game of footy. We just see here,
Super.
David, it was a great play from Hunter here just to keep the ball alive. You want to do that as a forward. And we just saw him kick it end over end. If he hadn't tried to kick the ball in the air, I doubt whether it would have went through.
I'm with Rowan Smith. That's the flair I want to see. I'm with him. I've just changed camps.
2 goals to Matt Rosa, country Victorian back home. Another Ballarat boy in your territory, Danny.
Yes, no, he's a good young lad. Good honest boy.
From the ball up, here he is again. On cue, Rosa, sting line, Waters. Hanson, looking at Victorians back home.
Well, this will be frustrating for Mark Thompson now, David, as a coach. You know, you've got the game sealed. The last thing you want to do is just lose a little bit of percentage just by slackening off the last 3 or 4 minutes.
I thought there might have been a few nervous Nellies in the grandstand, but things started to roll a bit with just consecutive goals. It's not going to happen, but yeah, you don't want to. What you've applied for this part, you must continue to do so.
Joel Selwood turns 19 next week, his debut season, and he's going to have a win over his brother Adam in his first contest in the AFL against him. Armstrong, Waters, Daniel Chick in the pocket, wearing 2 different boots this afternoon for some reason. Daniel Chick, I'm not too sure the reason behind it, but he's got 1 white and 1 black, or black and red.
Yeah, very unusual there. Daniel Kerr, still no possessions in the second half on Cameron Ling. As we see Ling get the ball. I think you go to school in the way Cameron Ling's played on Kerr today, David. He's just had body on body, finger in the back. Have a look at this. It's just sensational play.
Lynch out of the air towards full forward, and Milburn takes the mark.
It's a very negative tactic, but that's the type of tactic you have to use on a player such as Kerr. The last thing you want to give him is a free run at goal, so where he can run and carry and penetrate the Eagles forward line.
But Dan hasn't stopped him either. Link still had the ball 18 or 19 times, I think, for the day. So yeah, I think it's the way he has to play.
Ablett, Egan, Selwood with the fist from Kelly, dumps it down. Prentice. Selwood shoots a handball out to Rowan Jones. Waters, now where a pundit can run in and have a shot if he wants to, pokes the pass to Hanson, who can have a go at number 3 for his personal talent.
And Scarlett's looking around at everybody. They're all looking at each other. How could have he got through? Whose man is he? And that's the sort of thing you don't want to happen at the finish. I mean, that undoes the day.
Frustrating play. Have a look at the leg rope here. Look at the space the Eagles players have got here on the replay. You've just got to tighten up. Now you've got to play hip on hip. Mark Thompson, the leg rope is about 10 to 15 metres on the direct opponent. Tighten up.
It's kicked 2-2 so far this afternoon. He's now got 3.
Well, 21 points in the game. 7 minutes to go. We thought as commentators that the game was done and dusted. I think the Geelong players just need to take stock here. They need to win some clearances like they were in the first 3.5 quarters. At the moment, this is the Eagles' best passage of play. Just need Ottens to really dominate here and Bartel to get a clearance with Cameron Ling.
You're not giving them a sneaky chance, are you, Benny?
Well, there's 7 minutes of football left, Dwayne, and they've kicked 3 goals in the last 5 minutes. So, I'll tell you what, if Geelong kick the next goal, it's all over. But if the Eagles kick one in the next 60 seconds,
Still on the hunt.
there's some nervous boys out there.
21 points the margin. Corey, Ablett, Kelly, and now Tenace runs the wing. Just need 1 goal to seal up the Cats. A goal to the West Coast now might make a few people nervous. Short pass, Stokes. They could eat 3 or 4 minutes off the clock. That'd be as good as kicking a goal.
Well, the Eagles have to react to this. If it's the case, just play 1-on-1, force Geelong to kick to a contest. Now the Eagles have to man up.
Tenace slips. Lynch doesn't come at him. Kick around the body is wide and thumped clear of Varco. Will get a ball in. Rowan Smith.
Well, as a player, it does play on your mind sometimes when sides are coming back when they have done last year, and West Coast are doing that now. Geelong have just got to take control of this game.
Well, this is the new Geelong, though. It's not the old Geelong, Rowan. From the ball in, no one going anywhere, and more seconds eaten off the clock. 21 points the margin.
I think you're right, Dwayne. Tom Lonergan, you can see the confidence, David, at half-time. He thought, no, we're a different team. We've trained hard over the summer. We're mentally tougher. We've got another pre-season into our youngsters. This will be a good win. Good fight back.
Judd somehow got it out to Brown with some space to Hanson. It's an open forward line as well. Hearn caught. Got the handball out. Egan, Kelly, Bartell, Milburn. And now Tenace will send it to half forward. Stokes lurking. Got it. 60 from goal. Gary Ablett Jr. calls it short. He's got it. Thought about playing on. Maybe just beyond his range. Will kick from 50.
Who's provided a terrific target for West Coast too is young Hanson coming up at centre half forward. Really done that well.
He's going to load up. He takes on Selwood to Nathan Ablett from the pocket. Pokes it to full forward. Oddens is down there. Lynch is with him. Kerr can't get the kick away. Leclerc. Lynch. Hanson's out wide. Tough ball for him. Can't take the mark. Wirrapunda might from it. Just inside the line. Keeps it alive to his own advantage. Got 2 to beat. And he beat them both.
Well, great bit of play there from both players. But Daniel Kerr nearly got a possession in the second half there. Just escaped him.
This is going to go down as history-making day, isn't it?
Peter Sumich. John Worsthall. From the ball in. Bartell with the thumb straight down to Wirrapunda. And Enright cuts off a short pass.
Well, he reads the play beautiful, Enright, doesn't he? 27 possessions for a terrific player.
Well, the West Coast in the position now where they need to take chances. Geelong can just hold it up if they want to, and they might here. Scarlett, Stokes, Scarlett. Now can send it long. Back to Stokes. To the goal square. Nathan Ablett. That'll do.
Beautiful kick, Stokes. His ball use in the second half, David's been terrific forward to the centre. And that's what you want from your forward. To leap early, the ball's out in front. Both just about impossible to defend as a defender. We see Nathan Ablett leap early.
You made the point about the entry kicks have been so much better in the second half, and people can confidently come at the ball. Gives the backman no chance at all.
This will be the sealer if he kicks this.
To shut the gate. Kicks to the city end, the township end. Straight towards the church, and they're home.
So the crowd went up as one, David.
They did.
They had deja vu from last year. There was a couple of nervous little tremors. The Eagles kicked 3 unanswered goals. But when that ball went over the top of the goal umpire's hat, it was just magnificent to watch the crowd go up as one and just say, yep, we're home now, we're home. Stokes' second half has been terrific, David. I think his ball use, his run and carry, his ability to take the opposition on has been terrific. You know, Otten's recruited, maybe he's a forward, but I've got no doubt his best position is in the ruck, David.
Oh, agreed. It's not quite Polly Farmer, Billy Goggin yet, but who knows? Judd. It's the handball out. Leclerc. Selwood. Big bump by Kelly. Dispossessed Waters. Bartel loops the handball over the top. Corey again. Ablett Jr. takes on Waters. Back to Corey. He's spent. Armstrong. Turn it back over. Steve Johnson. One hand held. Slung. Can't get the kick away. Hearn. Dumped by Tenace. And now Armstrong sends it towards half forward. Hansen. 4 to beat. In the pack. Daniel Chick. Enright. Kelly. Rosa comes at him. He gets the kick away just in time. Wirapunda takes the mark at half-back. 2.5 minutes to the first loss of the season for the West Coast Eagles and to the most important win of the year for the Cats.
And it's also a good win for the other 14 and 15 teams going around, David, to know that this team's not invincible. All but without Cox and Embley, probably 2 out of their best 5 players, I would have thought.
There'll be a lot of analysis of this tape by coaching staff, don't worry.
Wirapunda, good for the rest of the teams in the competition you mentioned. Good for Port Adelaide. They're now equal top of the ladder with the West Coast. Stokes. Ablett got it from Corey. Bounces away. There's a spring in his step. Mooney.
That's exciting football from Gary Ablett. His ability to run, stop, change direction with lateral movement. Well, I was just about to say it's the best I've seen. I think his father was very good at it as well. I'd put him in the top 2, I think.
Cameron Mooney. He's got a couple. And he lines up from 50. He's had a good afternoon as well, Cameron Mooney. Different Cameron Mooney this year. It's the full Mooney.
He's pumped.
But they ought to be delighted, Dan. I mean, I just saw in that sequence of play going forward, David Johnson hammered into young Hearn, who wasn't expecting it, and down he went. It was a terrific bump, and he stood there looking for a while. He said, gee, I didn't know I was good at that sort of stuff.
And this is a great win because, look, they were mini-challenged 10 minutes ago.
Yep.
And it's a much better win because not only they just run the game out, the Eagles challenged them, but Geelong said, no, we'll give it back with interest.
Yeah, instead of Dan falling over the line with them coming back and people putting the question marks on, they've just turned it round. It's just been a terrific finish.
Another 8 goal kickers too for Geelong, spreading the load. 33-point
margin. Just over a minute remaining.
Another clearance too for Geelong.
Exactly. 26th possession for Joel Corey. Stokes, who's been sensational after quarter time. Tenace. Boundary line Varco.
Well, you talk about the blueprint is in the middle of the ground. Otten's ruck work and Blake has been sensational, and the underneath players, Bartel, Joel Corey, winning the clearances, that's the blueprint. Go in hard, pressure the opposition, more importantly, win the ball.
Geelong's reserves have been winning every week in the VFL with guys like Stephen King running around, puts pressure on the senior players to keep producing.
Daniel Kerr gives the ball back to the umpire, Dwayne. He's nearly got that possession in the second half.
Cameron Ling, well, he is the mayor. Cameron Ling, as his nickname down here, is sometimes not popular with fans here at the Cattery, but most of the time they love him. As they do, Cam Mooney loads up from 30. There's a whole lot of love in the room.
Exciting play. It's fantastic sitting here, just seeing a side dismantle the premiership team in the West Coast Eagles. A lot of people will say they're due for a downer, but all you can do is perform at your ability, and they've won every quarter of football now. That's no mean feat against the Eagles, David.
Probably also something for the couple that they're missing. There's no doubt that Cox was a terrific loss in terms of their structure.
Four goals, 1 for Cameron Mooney.
Nathan Ablett 3, Otten's 2, Steve Johnson 2, and young Gary Ablett 2. Great spread of goal kickers for their forward line.
And the ball up, free kick will go to Seabee against Ottens. He won't even argue the point, Brad Ottens. There's no use. Shake of the head as good as anything. Hansen's on the move, takes the mark. Egan's been pretty good in defence for the Cats this afternoon. Hansen. Braun about to get run down. Steve Johnson brings him down. Sends it wide, Bartel. One last possession for him. To Stokes. takes them on. Chip kick to Mooney. And he can finish the show. Pokes it over the top to Stokes. Takes the mark. And can go back and kick the goal.
Well, let's hope he does, Dwayne. That would put the icing properly on the cake with a few candles too.
The scoreboard tells the true tale. They deserve to win by this amount. It's been a fantastic performance here by the Geelong Football Club.
An arm wrestle, as we know, Dan, I think until half-time. The premiership quarter was well and truly won by Geelong. While they were challenged, they hung firm in the finish and now have just run away. This would be a lovely finish if young Stokes can put it away.
It stands at 39 points to make it 45. And it doesn't register a score, but it doesn't really matter. It's been a magnificent performance, a 39-point victory to the Cats. Before this game, they'd only beaten the three bottom teams in the competition, Carlton, Melbourne and Richmond. They've now got a home win against the reigning premiers, the undefeated West Coast Eagles, coming in. They were equal favourites coming into this game, the West Coast and Geelong. But it was an emphatic victory. They stretched the margin beyond 41 points in the third term. The West Coast Eagles went goalless in the third quarter. A full house at Skilled Stadium, and they've seen something to lick their lips for the rest of the season about. Gary Ablett Jr., no one dominating up forward for the Cats, and even spread of goal kickers, as you said, boys. But a performance from the midfield that they'll be talking about for quite a while, with Corey, Bartell, Blake and Ottens in the ruck, and let's not forget Enright and Ling as well, who did their jobs also. Won the takeaways and dominated as we go.